from the qawl of Ibn Khaldun. The second thing is, he says that the expression is a linguistic action, right? That comes from al-lisan, linguistic action. In Arabic, he says, nashi', that it comes out of al-lisan. And therefore, it must be a firmly rooted faculty in the organ that performs it. And this is a myth breaking for all of those, most of the time, students of knowledge, lil asaf, sadly, that because of either insecurity that they are not able to speak correctly themselves, or because they just not inclined towards wanting to put effort into increasing their capability in speaking, they tend to spread this myth of, oh, you don't need to speak the language. You just need to understand, because we are trying to learn the Arabic language to understand the Quran and to understand the Sunnah. Therefore, I don't need to be able to speak it. I just need to be able to understand when I'm reading. And this is from amongst the biggest nonsensical things that you can say. Because even Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran about the Arabic language, lisanun Arabi. And so, as Ibn Khaldun, he says, language is something that is a trait in your tongue. It's something that comes out of your tongue. So it needs to be a firmly rooted trait in your tongue. You need to be able to speak it before anything. Likewise, the Arabic language, before the scholars that put an nahu like Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali and Khalil ibn Ahmad and the scholars that are referenced in the Arabic language, before the Sahaba wanted to preserve the Quran, the Arabic language was a language, a lugha mantuqa. It was a pronounced language. It was used to speak it only. There wasn't no rules. It was barely being written, and only a few qabail, a few tribes of the Arabs, they used to write the Arabic language. And so when it comes to this myth of you don't have to speak the language, this qawl from many others that I just picked this one as an example. This qawl is what breaks that myth of, oh, you don't need to speak the language because you just want to understand the Quran and the Sunnah. Likewise, then Al-Imam Ibn Khaldun, he says, وَأَمَّا عِلْمُ اللُّغَةِ فَهُوَ مَعْرِفَةُ أَفْرَادِ الْكَلِمِ وَكَيْفِيَّةِ أَوْضَاعِهَا. As for the science of language, it is the knowledge of individual words and how they are structured and applied. So, علم اللغة, even if we look at the ayah where Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, after he has mentioned that he has created Adam, then he taught Adam how to speak. So Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, and Allah Azza wa Jal taught Adam all of the words. If you go to Tafsir ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas, he was asked, did Allah Azza wa Jal taught Adam the words like was-sahfa, which are, names to describe a pot, something you put food in it, like a plate. And then Ibn Abbas, he said, yes, hatta al-fuswa wal-fasiyya, which is passing wind, to emphasize on how much and how detailed did Allah Azza wa Jal gave Adam from the vocabulary that for someone, and this brings me to the myth of many students of knowledge, what they say is, why do I want to learn this book? Like, they might talk about Arabi Benedict, they might talk about other books. They say, why am I learning this book? Why am I learning to say tomatoes? Why am I learning to say clouds? Why am I learning to say trees? Why am I learning when I want to understand the Quran and the Sunnah? And this is one of the biggest problems of, I know it all type of students, because, I know a few fatawiyat and I've memorized a few ahadith and I've memorized a couple of juz from the Quran, so I know what I need. So imagine somebody who wants to lose weight, he goes to a coach and he says, why do I have to track my food? Why do I have to weight my food? All I want to do is eat healthy, so I'm just going to eat salad. So is you going to the expert and telling him, no, I know what I need, even though you don't even have experience in it. So here, Ibn Khaldun, he says that al-lugha is knowing afrad al-kalima, knowing vocabulary, afrad al-kalim, وَكَيْفِيَّةِ أَوْضَاعِهَا, and how to put them together to make sense of it. And this is so powerful because Ibn Khaldun is telling you something people ignore. Language is a malaka. It's something that you possess, a skill, a faculty within yourself. So something that becomes rooted in your tongue through repeating and through speaking a lot. And this is why in Under Issue we have speaking sessions, which I will show you in a little bit. And we consider these as being from amongst the most important things, speaking, because speaking is the skill that will make any other linguistic skill strong.
Now we're going to introduce yourself. We're going to learn how to introduce yourself. Just before that, I want to know, how would you differentiate between a male and a female when it comes to greeting? So, say for example, I'm a female. What would you say, "Akhi Mikola"? Do you mean if I'm a female, for example?
What greeting? Like,
so how would you greet me? If you was to greet a female, how would you greet me?
Oh, okay. السلام عليك, I think.
Very good. Assalamu alaikum. How would you say how are you?
كيف حالك?
كيف حالك? And how would you say what's your name?
ما اسمك?
Okay, very good. And now change that to a male. So how would you say Salama? Go on.
السلام عليك.
Very good. Assalamu alaikum. And then going down. How are you?
كيف حالك?
And what's your name?
ما اسمك?
Very good. So today we're going to learn these three questions, and inshallah in the future we're going to add more to these questions to introduce yourself. How to introduce yourself. So let's stick to these three questions. How are you? Greetings. How are you? What's your name and where are you from? Let's stick to them 4 questions, okay? So I want you to start it. So Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Kada. I am from Kada, and so my name, I'm from, okay, you understand? So obviously when you're in a dialogue, that's a monologue. When you're in a dialogue, you'd say, how are you? I'll ask you, how are you? And then you answer that question. So just introduce yourself, and I'll ask you the questions, and then you introduce yourself, okay? So we're going to have a dialogue, okay? So Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What would you respond?
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالك؟
أنا بخير. وأنت؟
الحمد لله أنا بخير. ما اسمك؟
اسمي نيكولاي.
نيكولاي.
وأنت؟
ميكولاي أو نيكولاي؟ بالنون أو بالميم؟
نيكولاي.
بالميم. ميكولاي. جيد. مرحبا بك يا أخي ميكولاي. أنا اسمي عفان. اسمي عفان. من أين أنت يا أخي ميكولاي؟
أنا من بولندا.
بولندا. ممتاز. you forgot about me يا أخي.
وأين أنت؟ من أين أنت؟
ومن أين أنت؟ أنا من بريطانيا. أنا من بريطانيا. Very good. So now.
So this is why the fastest way to learn Arabic is not being drowned in grammar. It's to build the language as a living ability. You collect words in context. You use those words in speech. You get corrected quickly. You repeat until the tongue becomes trained. And then grammar comes in at the right time, like a tool. It redefines you. It makes you accurate. It makes you understand deeper. But it's not the foundation for fluency. Vocabulary and usage are the foundation when it comes to learning the Arabic language.